The Backstage Experience starts now. Welcome to the Backstage Experience as we take you backstage with the biggest names and games in entertainment. This week we go storm chasing with the tornado wrangler himself, Glen Powell, as he and Twisters co-stars Daisy Edgar-Jones and Anthony Ramos reveal the real-life tornado outbreak that stopped production. Deadpool and Wolverine is one of the most hyped movies of the year. We all know Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are in the movie, but who actually plays the villain? It's a familiar face as Succession star Matthew Macfadyen makes his debut in the Marvel Universe. Plus, the Karate Kid himself, Ralph Macchio, stops by, and as always, we talk all things gaming with David Johnson. All this week, only on the Backstage Experience.
Welcome to the Backstage Experience. I'm Dave Morales.
And I'm John Stenval.
All right, John, I know you already know who's on this show, but I'm about to list off everything we're talking about this week. How impressed are you? You ready for this?
Extremely impressed. These are some big films.
All right, we're talking Twisters. Glen Powell is going to stop by this episode. And one of the biggest movies of the summer?
Deadpool and Wolverine. We're talking to the villain, Matthew Macfadyen.
He plays Paradox, and it's a great interview. You're going to love it. And if that wasn't enough, Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso from COBRA KAI. Is that it? Wow. That's it. Okay, whatever. We both have different moves. They're stopping by, so you picked a great time to join us here on the Backstage Experience. Now, like we do every week, we start things off with gaming.
David Johnson, take it away.
College football is raking in the dough. A Quiet Place in Your Own Home, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles level up. All that and more this week in gaming on the Backstage Experience. There have been 3 movies in a Quiet Place franchise, but the monster thrills won't stop there. The Italian studio developer Stormind Games has created a brand new story based on the popular horror film series. The game is a single-player survival horror game where the player controls a character from the first-person perspective. The game leans heavily into stealth mechanics and sound-sensitive environments. The player must navigate the post-apocalyptic world inhabited by the very monsters from A Quiet Place. The long-running PvP game Overwatch has announced a new hero has been added to their roster. The new character is Juno, a versatile support hero who is sure to have teams rethink their entire strategy. The Juno comes equipped with a pulsar torpedo weapon that allows her to lock on to multiple targets, a glide boost ability giving her the maneuverability to provide healing anywhere on the entire map, and her orbital ray ultimate attack increases damage and replenishes the health of her entire team. Juno will be officially launching in Season 12 next month. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are back, fresh off of their brand new movie. After saving the world, and more importantly, New York, in TMNT Mutant Mayhem, Leo, Ralph, Mikey, and Donatello are back for a new game called TMNT Mutants Unleashed. The Turtles must band together to defeat a new wave of mutant enemies invading New York City in a third-person action platforming adventure. Back in 2021, the FPS action game Splitgate debuted to a huge success. Since then, the team has worked day in and day out on a bona fide sequel to be released in 2025. Splitgate 2 looks to be a mix between the popular PvP stylings of the Halo franchise with the world-breaking physics formula from the Portal games. The sequel will be free to play with cosmetic microtransactions, much like Fortnite. The game will also still be first-person with 4v4 player versus player online matches, but the sequel will introduce factions. Each faction will be tailored to a different gameplay style and strategy chosen by the player. And finally, after only 1 week in the books, College Football 25 has become one of the most successful game releases ever. EA sold the pre-order version of the game for $100, and that allowed players to get their hands on the game 3 days early before the official release, priced at $70. EA just announced that College Football 25 had over 2.2 million unique players during its 4-day pre-order period. That equates to an estimated $210 million in game sales in just 4 days. EA has already begun hinting at how they plan to go to the next level with College Football 26, but for now, they're just enjoying the ride.
Twisters is the biggest movie in theaters right now, and I'm telling you, Dave, it just blows you away.
With the puns. By the way, folks, he's been doing that like for 2 weeks since we started this project, like pun after pun with the Twisters. Are you done with them?
No.
I knew it. Brandon Perea, who we all know from the movie Nope. He's got another big role. He stars with Sasha Lane. We're going to talk to him about this tornado-packed film that'll blow you away. It's the only one I know. This is Twisters.
We gotta go! We gotta go!
It's interesting. I just went through a hurricane a couple of days ago,
Yeah.
and my first interview's back is a movie about rain and storms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What did you know about tornadoes or any before you took this role on?
I mean, essentially, I didn't know maybe the lingo, but like being born and raised in Texas, it's kind of like,
Right.
the basics and stuff, and yeah, dangerous.
That's right. We talked to H-Town last time. That's right.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
were together. Yeah. What did you know about these types of storms before this role, and
Yeah.
what did you learn now that you maybe didn't know before?
So I did a movie where I got sucked up by nearly a storm, but it was an alien creature. Yeah. But no, when I was younger, I used to read books on tornadoes and lightning all the time, and there's something that just intrigued me about the spectacle of a spinning cloud that's coming from the sky to the ground, and I don't know, I was scared of it, but also I just wanted to learn more about it. So I knew quite a bit going into it, but like, yeah, the lingo and all the detailed stuff that these professional meteorologists know.
Yeah.
No, I'm not over
Or
there.
Every person in Oklahoma ever.
Yeah, or people who just grew up in Oklahoma, since they deal with so many tornadoes, you can go into a 7-Eleven and they all have all the lingo. Like, you see the mesocyclone earlier? Imagine someone saying that in Cali.
Yeah.
No, you don't hear it, you know?
So, I mean, like, take me backstage filming. Do they spray you with water? I mean, I've never been in
I avoided that.
Okay, but
But yeah, they do. It's like essentially like just before the scene, it's like poor Brandon, they're just like, all right, shh.
Yeah.
do they really?
Oh yeah, I'd get reset with some water, and they try to make it warm sometimes, and then there's times where it is cold water, and you just, deal with the brunt of it, it's all good. And then sometimes I had dirt resets, because like, my character hangs out the window and stuff, and then I'm getting slimed out with dirt and rain and water, but it's what we do. It's what we do.
And actually watching you in this film, because
Yeah.
I've known you for many years, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I think you would actually do this in real life.
See?
I would. I did. I tried. Yeah,
Really?
I tried in Oklahoma. I went during one of the storm seasons, and we got close, and we didn't quite get there. My manager's on the side right now, and he can cover his ears now because I'm going to go next season and chase again. I'm doing it.
And you
Did
say
just
no.
say that you would probably do this? Wow, you wild.
I'm not going to do it.
No.
Yeah. And I'm from Texas.
Exactly, which is why we ain't gonna do it. We
There
gonna
it
sit
is.
this one
Safe
out.
distance. Safe distance, though. I'll get the iPhone shot for y'all, though.
It's the summer of Glen Powell, as the hitman and Top Gun Maverick star is now wrangling tornadoes in Twisters. Filming the movie was intense, to say the least, as a real-life tornado broke out on the set.
We got twins! Twins!
Twister stars Glen Powell, Daisy Edgar-Jones, and Anthony Ramos share their story from that intense day next. Only on the Backstage Experience.
Welcome back to the Backstage Experience. I'm Dave Morales.
And I'm John Stenval, and we've got a movie that will sweep you off your feet.
Oh, there you go again with those puns. We're talking Twisters, folks, and he's one of the biggest stars on the planet right now. Glen Powell and Anthony Ramos in this movie as well.
Daisy Edgar-Jones.
Daisy Edgar-Jones.
She's the real star of this movie.
I'm going to tell Glen Powell you said that. We know him. He's probably watching the episode right now.
He is.
They're all collectively big stars in this movie. Here's what's interesting to note about this film. It's not a remake of the original from 1996. It's not a sequel. This is an updated version of the movie Twisters.
A new chapter.
A new chapter, and a real tornado broke out while they were filming. The cast is going to tell you all about it. More with the cast of Twisters.
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler.
If you feel it, chase it! And if you feel it, chase it! All right, here we go.
How real did this get to film? And I'm talking about the noise, they were spraying you with water. How real did it feel?
Well, I would say that, you know, I mean, we are shooting a tornado movie in Tornado Alley during tornado season. So, I mean, obviously all the elements around you are as real as it gets. You know, we tried to avoid as many real twisters as humanly possible, but we did have like days on set where, you know, we're emulating a tornado happening, and then like a storm comes in, takes away the set, and then we have to like create a fake tornado, which is just ironic.
No, I don't.
Daisy was the one that like pointed that out to us when we were shooting. She's like, "Isn't it ironic? Like, we're having to clean up after a real storm, and now we have to create a fake tornado."
Yeah, we have to do it again on screen.
Shouldn't we just shoot the real thing?
Yeah.
Would you storm chase in real life, knowing now what you know from doing this film?
We actually have. Yeah, we became such good friends with a bunch of storm chasers because loads of them were like on our set. They were as background artists, but also there to consult with us. And so we're all in a massive group chat with all of the like storm chasers, and they're genuinely the coolest people I've ever met. And so 2 months ago, we got a message from one of them, Sean, saying like, "There's a crazy weather event, come chase." And Glenn and Brandon and I were free. We're gonna take Anthony next time if you're like, you're thinking about it.
Nah, I'm gonna go.
This experience, what gave you pause to do a film like this and know more about twisters and which there's going on behind you? That's interesting. I love that, dude. That's so cool.
You know, it was like that a little bit.
Okay,
sometimes
tell me about that.
I mean, like we be on set, and I mean, I think Daisy told a story about her and Glenn shooting the scene on top of the car, and they're eating and they're just kind of hanging out. And they're talking about the storm that they're about to go, right? Wasn't it like the cloud? You're like, oh, we're looking at this cloud. There's some weather forming over there, but there was like a real cloud forming behind y'all during that scene. She was like, it was kind of crazy because we were like, yeah, look at the cloud over there, but there was an actual one forming behind them, and they had to stop and they had to wrap, and then boom, that tornado actually touches down and happens. And then our director Isaac went with Sean, I think, who took Daisy and Glenn and Brandon chasing, went with him and chased that tornado and sent us a video.
Dang, that's crazy. All right, it's not directed to anybody, just shout it out. I love the music. I'm a music guy as well, as you know, and I love the music. What needs to be on your playlist? Everybody's gonna give an answer.
There was like some old hits, you know, some like Marty Robbins and you know, Johnny Cash and stuff like that. I think the fun part about the soundtrack and how it's kind of developed is we have sort of like the Avengers of country music on our it's unbelievable the names that are on this thing.
Your song, because I know you're a music guy.
On the soundtrack?
I mean, it could be Dua Lipa, it could be whatever. Honestly, I don't know.
How'd you know?
Is it really?
Oh, by the way, it's Levitating, of course.
What's the one she did with Elton John?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one.
We're all drawing blanks, but yeah, dude, no, I'm serious.
Dua Lipa would be great for chasing, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So my chasing song would be "Ain't in Kansas Anymore" by Miranda Lambert.
They're not gonna edit that though, so.
They're not?
No.
We're gonna edit that out. Hey, good to see y'all. Thanks so much. Let's do a photo.
Yeah, let's do a photo.
Yeah,
John, you guys mind doing a photo?
This is a fun film.
The scenes, there's one scene in a theater that...
Don't ruin it.
Okay.
Yeah. When you're in the theater, that's all you're going to say, because I know that scene. Look, here's my advice. Find the best sound in a theater.
IMAX, 40X, get the wind blowing in your face.
It's a movie that lends itself to that.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of you all have seen it. It's doing great at the box office. But if you haven't seen it, definitely this is one you want to see on the biggest screen possible. Twisters, and it's doing great. I hope they
It was better than I expected.
I hope they make more.
It really was. Yeah, they need a sequel.
We all know Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman star in Deadpool and Wolverine. But who's playing the villain? We catch up with Succession star Matthew Macfadyen about making his debut in the Marvel Universe. Only on the Backstage Experience.
Welcome back to the Backstage Experience. We have Matthew Macfadyen joining us on the show, and you might actually remember him from Succession.
This dude's a big star, and he's in one of the biggest movies of the summer, Deadpool and Wolverine. So, After the injuries that Wolverine experienced, okay, he encounters, stop it. You're trying to ruin everything in this week's episode. He had injuries. Anyway, he encounters a foul-mouthed Deadpool,
of course.
Played by Ryan Reynolds. Now, mind you, we weren't allowed to see the entire movie before we did the interview.
We saw 40 minutes of it, and it's just funny seeing Hugh Jackman, who's one of the nicest people in the world, dropping 4-letter words.
Yeah, and it's just, it's very well done. It's very rated R, so I know it's a comic movie. I know it's Marvel, but it's very rated R. But it's very, what we've seen so far, well done. All right, so we're going to talk to Matthew about his role and what it feels like to actually be in a Marvel movie. Costumes, sets, everything. Here's what he had to say as we talk Deadpool and Wolverine. Great to meet you.
You too.
I have to tell you something right off the top. I've been doing this for several years, and I always tell my mom, hey, this is who I'm gonna, go talk to and all that. She screamed when I told her I was gonna see you. She goes, Tom! and like I've never seen her react that way. So Mama Morales gives you full endorsement.
Send mine back to Mama Morales.
I love that. How much cussing was there going on? That is probably the most important question that I'm going to ask you today.
It was very rude. I was shocked. And I'm quite an innocent soul, and Ryan Reynolds was coming out with some really nasty stuff, really coarse. Yeah, no, it's very funny.
Well, it's even funny, like just even the little part that we get to see, because it's under secrecy. It's Marvel.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman, who I've talked to both those guys over the years, many years. But even hearing Hugh, I'm like, what is Ryan Reynolds doing to this?
And also, he's behind. Well, apart from what is he doing to his fellow actors? Because he's behind a mask, and so he's just coming out with ad libs and improvs and bits and pieces. Especially when he's like, there was one little piece with me and Hugh, and Ryan has to just. And every take it was something different. It was really hard not to break. It was really hard.
If I'm not mistaken, this is your very first Marvel film.
Yes.
So, did it live up to your expectations, the hype? Because I have a feeling like the sets, the costumes, even down to the catering would be like top line. Am I right?
Yeah.
Really?
True. Yeah, it's a bit, I mean, the scale is huge. But it felt, Marvel's such a big thing. I don't know what the Marvel film means. Because I've never, it felt like a Deadpool film, and it was a Ryan Reynolds, Sean Levy film. So, and a Ryan Reynolds, Sean Levy film is a really lovely thing because everyone's plugged in and happy, and there's a really lovely, great atmosphere on set, and you don't feel scared to try stuff, and so it was great. It was a nice experience.
What did you know about your character before you took this on?
Nothing.
Okay, that's great. No, honestly,
He's a sort of amalgam of TVA people, I think, as far as I understand. So, we had a really good script, and if you've got a really good script, that's your source material, and so I just sort of jumped in.
Are you a big comics fan?
Not really.
I love the honesty, by the way.
Yeah.
This is because I'd rather
I could lie, but I
I
don't mind comics. But I read Spider-Man comics and Superman comics when I was little because we lived in the Far East, and we lived in a sort of community in Jakarta, and there were lots of Texans there, actually, because my dad worked in the oil business. So there were lots of comics with my friends, and they brought them from the States. So I read it when I was like 7, 8.
Final question for you today, sir, is how will you be spending opening day?
I'm flying back to the UK. Yeah, I'll wake up on Tuesday morning like that, and then drag myself to the airport with my family. They've all come out to see it, so yeah.
4 decades after the release of The Karate Kid, the story of Daniel LaRusso continues to entertain fans around the world with the release of Cobra Kai on Netflix. Before we go, Ralph Macchio joins us on the Backstage Experience as we reflect on his surprise return to the role in the Netflix hit series and upcoming movie. That's coming up next. Only on the Backstage Experience.
Welcome back to the Backstage Experience, and before we go, we have the legendary Ralph Macchio joining us here on the show.
You got to do the Cobra Kai. They're calling it the last season. I don't want it to end. But Ralph Macchio is back as his character, Danny LaRusso. Ralph's with us right now. Before we go, got to ask you the question, Ralph. Did you ever think in all your years that you would come back as this character of Danny LaRusso?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, it seems so, certainly not at this level. It seemed so great in a certain chapter in my life, and then took off and became bigger than me and my life, and bigger than the actor and even the character. It became part of a global sort of piece of cinema that became pop culture, and it always felt to me that let it stand on its own to go back to the well, because over the years I'd be pitched different things and they all sounded like one-offs, and nothing was rooted in anything of excitement. This was just the right time, the smart idea. It all came together. So it was like jumping in the pool, but you still didn't know what the temperature was going to be. When you hit that water, you just don't quite know. And it's been lukewarm perfection.
On the next episode of the Backstage Experience, M. Night Shyamalan is back to terrorizing us with Trap. Pearl Harbor star Josh Hartnett makes an epic return to the big screen. And we travel to Boston to sit down with two of the city's best-known stars, Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. That's all coming up next week, only on the Backstage Experience.